unstoppable force from Malphite. You know, Alistar running in there, but Cassiopeia is a reinitiation champion unless you have that bushwhack. Being able to sit in the brush with your entire team and just scream out Cassiopeia's ultimate, stunning the entire opposing team. An awesome pick there, and it just helps their poke comp. And we see Orianna being picked up, played by Ocelot a lot in the European regionals, a very formidable AP mid carry coming into this tournament, and a Nautilus in the jungle. He's going to have a lot of presence. A slower jungler can clear the jungle fast, but once he's in lane, you definitely need to get out because he will make big plays happen.
Yeah, I really like this pickup here overall from TSM.Evo. They've got an amazing front line here with Shen plus Nautilus, and I think that was actually something that faltered last time, was again, Alistar was so broke that he wasn't able to be a full tank, and the only other melee champion on that roster was Rumble, who's trying to be a mage and not a tank. So it's a little bit scarier for him to you know, stay in the front line and survive, and thus Curse was able to kind of run through that front line, deal a whole heck of a lot of damage, and make it scary. But now you've got Shen dedicated to a solo lane. He's gonna be big and beefy. Nautilus, I think his natural tankiness is up there with Alistar, and you put the two of them together, and you've got a really great front line. Behind that, you've got Lulu and Orianna, who can both put shields on their teammates, and Orianna plus Ezreal are going to be the two big carries for this match, and they have a lot of damage output available to them. So I would categorize TSM.Evo as being very, very safe, very tanky, quite mobile actually as well, but the difficulty here is going to be, can Curse break through their front line?
Yeah, we're going to see actually Westrise picking up one of his more favorite champions of recent days. He's going to be taking that Darius. We may definitely see a different game from him. Darius, having a good amount of armor early game, is going to be able to punch down that double comp if he gets set up against those two top laners again, if they decide to switch up those lanes. So he will be having a little bit better time there. He can keep himself ranged a bit, so we'll have to see how Westrise fares during this matchup, or if the team is once again forced to swap the lanes back to make it easier in the early game.
Yeah, and the difficulty as well overall for Darius is that execute, the way it works. It deals true damage, so you don't have to worry about, you know, mitigation and armor and magic resist so much. But the difficulty here is a shield can block the damage. And now Darius' ultimate, right, deals significant true damage to a single target. If it kills, if that is the killing blow to that target, the cooldown is refreshed and you can cast it again and kill a different champion. However, TSM.Evo's lineup has self-shields on Shen and Nautilus. Shen, Orianna, and Lulu can all shield a teammate, which means good luck executing someone when out of nowhere they've gained 800 health.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we are jumping into game 2 here, how will TSM.Evo respond after the first game where Curse pretty much played that map objectives? We'll have to find out. Let him hear you. If you want to see TSM bring this into a game 3, let's hear it for TSM.Evo.
And on the flip side, if you want to see Curse close it out for a 2-0, let me hear you guys cheer in the audience for Curse.
Curse definitely with a lot of the crowd behind them now. However, feeling pretty good as well. Like I said, TSM.Evo on their heels after that surrender, but we have seen it happen, even at the North American Regionals. A team surrenders to play a 20-minute match that looks like their opposing teams to surrender. So we'll have to see what TSM.Evo really had in mind during that surrender vote, what they were going to do to come out on this, and will it be different? They're already invading a lot more than they did before. It was really just a standoff last game.
This is going to be interesting overall because Curse invaded in order to ward the other team's golem. The thing is, that was already warded by TSM.Evo. So Evo knows that Curse is waiting around for that, and actually, they're choosing to play safely. They're actually going to move themselves defensively. They're going to move down to their own lizard buff. Saul is going to wait around to the mid lane, but everyone else is going to kind of babysit Unstoppable on Nautilus and let him get his early start here. And so we're going to see how that pans out for them, because Evo are playing a very, very safe level 1. Ultimately, there's actually no aggression from Curse whatsoever. They're actually just going to kind of clear their own jungle and be very safe about it.
Yeah, Unstoppable not looking to get that blue first, so he's going to grab this, and it looks like they're going to go for the fast gank. Having that Nautilus in lane, the amount of just pull that he has, and slow, he can stick to an enemy champion like no other. They're going to really utilize that, and we can see fast reds from both junglers.
Yeah, so Unstoppable on Nautilus. Have that lizard buff is going to make his ganks very, very scary, and actually he does save his smite overall. So his smite back up, and you can use that to take down his golem camp, or maybe to invade for something. On that jungle Nunu, if you add the lizard buff on top of his own ice blast slow, he's going to be very, very dominant. He's going to be a very, very scary force here. actually an interesting choice. He's going to actually invade here for this Golem camp, and the support Alistar is waiting in the wings as well. Now, both sides have this warded. We'll see if a Smite Steal is available, or if they're going to get this one for free.
That was a really great ward, and they are going to take it down. It's going to have to be Unstoppable now, focusing on just this Anchor Toss and Riptide to really make the kill happen. Will he be able to get in? Actually, I think he just possibly hit level 3, so he has all of them is with his W as well. So we'll have to see if he can really get down through that. Focus onto top lane here. Wings of Death just on the side, but St. Vicious and Elements as well, waiting in the wing, watching Westrice. Westrice playing very cautious here. He's not playing that aggressive style. He knows he just needs to say, hey, I'm alone. You should probably initiate on me. And there it is. Will he get the apprehended? No, he does not. Just going for the attack, and they are going to have to back off from that. He just hit level 2, and that would have been great 1 minion earlier.
Yeah, I'm surprised it actually went that early. I don't know if he misjudged how much experience he would gain, but
right.
I thought, yeah, okay, wait around and hit level 2, then he'll go in. And he went in just at level 1, and you just saw how safe Wings was playing. He knew that jungle invades were available. They just saw the support and jungler on the left side of the map. He was like, hold up, let's wait around a little bit, let's be a little bit safe.
So Unstoppable actually getting the blue from St. Vicious. He went around and grabbed his own. A very nice job there, and it looks like he's going to head top lane. There is the attack from Westrice. He's a little too far, though. He flashes over to Tribush. An amazing job. Does Cassiopeia have enough time to make it up? It looks like the mids are actually focusing on each other, and again, an omnipresent St. Vicious is there to make sure that he's safeguarded.
Meanwhile, after that bottom lane, Elements with some really good aggression puts Mashby down to half health, but because Elements was roaming for so long, it was a 2 versus 1 at this bottom lane. There's a big minion kill difference here. It's 20 on Mashby's Ezreal and only 11 on that Corki. But here comes Unstoppable again at that top lane. So much damage. Westrice does not have flash. This could be another first blood craft up. And just like last game, Wings of Death getting first blood thanks to Unstoppable. And it seems that his ganks really are unstoppable, and I had heard people complain that Unstoppable spends a little bit too much time farming and not enough ganking. That seems to not be the case here. Second time in a row, he's picked up first blood for Wings, and it's going to snowball that top lane ahead. We'll
have to see what he does. If he goes for that early Oracle again, may set himself behind, but right now, very much so helping his team. They're able to get that in headbutt, pulverized combination, but the AD carries are left to fight for themselves as the support go back and forth. Usually you'll see the AD carry just quickly jump on him, but they went for both supports. Elements kind of maybe misstepping there for a second with the shield that Lulu has. Nyut just throwing that on, and really the damage rate going in favor of TSM.Evo there.
Yeah, both of them chugging through a few health potions right now. The one advantage for Curse, though, is Alistar has a heal. You can keep Corki's health topped off by using that Triumphant Roar and just adding health to nearby teammates. We're going to see if that ends up being a really big force here, but Mashby right now just having to chug through some potions. We'll see if that's going to keep him alive. Unstoppable coming down through the jungle. He's been spotted by a ward, though, and Curse are going to be running away, and looks like they will be safe here.
Oh, the quick walk-in definitely would have given the initiation, but it didn't look like the team was quite ready. Cass coming back to mid, as I believe, no, she did not take Wraiths. Nijaki just making sure he's covered on all ends. Cass quite easy to gank in the early part of the game. She does have that miasma to slow, but if it's just missed, you can grab her quite easily. Not hitting those Qs as well. Westrice again playing aggressive. It did cost him last time, but he's just trying to last hit now. It looks like he's freezing as much as possible. Wings of Death playing this very smart, just using his energy right now for Vorpal Blades. There's no reason to go on and get that damage over time tick that Darius can put on you.
Yeah, he doesn't want to take a lot of damage. The good thing here for Shen, played by Wings of Death, he has some sustain. He can get his health back up by landing a Vorpal Blade on something and just striking it with a basic attack. It's going to give you a bit of health regeneration for a few seconds, so he can keep himself topped off. On top of that, he can shield himself from damage for a couple of seconds, and so if he takes a little bit of burst or he takes a bleed, he can shield it, block the damage out, and yeah, he'll be in a decent shape by playing a little bit safely, just trying to keep his health bar up.
So we see right now in the game, the junglers, they've made their presence in the lane scene. We did see a kill come from that, like you said, Unstoppable. And St. Vicious playing very aggressive right now, and Unstoppable able to help coming up in that first one. We'll have to see what he can do. They're moving up towards the top. Nijaki sees that, and it looks like he's going to be going around with the movement from Nijaki and the vision of the creeps in middle. Very smart by Unstoppable to keep his vision not tunneled on where he was going.
Yeah, so let's take actually a closer look at some of these lane matchups. Right now, we're looking at the mid lane. It's Salsi on Orianna and Nijaki on Cassiopeia. Now, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because these champions are entirely reliant on skill shots. They need to aim the abilities and have them actually strike the model. They can't just click on a guy and it's like, oh, here's some free damage and a stun, no thank you. No, they've got to actually aim and make sure that they collide with each other and that, you know, the poison hits or the ball hits. It's a very skill-based matchup, and both these champions have a lot of area of effect. And we talked about that last time a little bit, where Salsi wanted to keep pushing to the turret and then assisting, you know, his teammates elsewhere on the map. It's a similar situation here, where these guys can crush down these minion waves very, very easily. They can also kill each other very fast. Salsi puts that ball up there, wants to use it to zone Cassiopeia out a little bit. Not quite going to do too much damage, but these guys can crush minion waves down and they can move on. They can take jungle camps or they can gank a little bit later.
So looks like we do have some backing. Wings of Death picking up some potions there, moving around his inventory so he can get back to lane and sustain. Unstoppable X more than happy to soak up this experience as the jungler. It's really going to help him to scale with his team into the game. The jungler's usually either a level behind or just with your dual lanes. So if they can be tankier, they're able to take so much more damage. And like Saint said, if somebody's going to die in the fight, it's fine to be the jungler.
Yeah, unless the guy has an Oracle. Right now, I don't believe either side has that just... No, actually, Saint does. Saint has an Oracles. So, you know, this is the one case where TSM.Evo would love to just trade kills and take away the Oracles from Saint Vicious. That would be awesome for them. But, you know, unlike last game where it was unstoppable going through and sweeping wards and kind of blinding the other team, it's actually Saint Vicious this time is going to play that role. And we'll see if he can make gigs happen as a result.
So here's something that Wings of Death can really just do in his lane. Darius obviously not dealing any ability power damage. You see him going for the quick chain vest after he got the Heart of Gold gold generation item. So he's going to be able to sustain in lane if he's missing creeps. That gold generation item is going to help him out a little bit, but we've just seen him using that shield, Vorpal Blade to harass, quick basic attacks to get his CS down, and he's actually doing quite well. 53 over Darius's 48. Westrice was killed in lane, so it set him back a little bit, and we can see that he is playing a little less aggressive now, not showing himself as much until, bam, he can pick up that CS.
Yeah, but ultimately, I actually, in the end, don't like Westrice's pick here. Now, I thought it was going to make a lot of sense in champion select. Darius is a great lane against Shen overall, and can easily deal a lot of damage and actually kind of overpower the natural sustain that Shen has. The problem is, Shen's late game is great. He's got so much support, so much tankiness. Shen is just a phenomenal, phenomenal late game champion overall, but you pick Darius in order to win your lane. Well, Westrice, thanks to Unstoppable X's help, Westrice is not going to win that lane. He's behind Shen, and he will continue to do so ultimately, unless there's some support either from the jungler or from his mid lane. Is that Curse is not having a great time at this top lane, and so Curse, they need to get their advantage somewhere else. Someone else needs to step up and really push a lead, because they're down 1,000 gold, and that advantage is not going to shrink on its own.
And a quick boots of mobility going out to Nautilus. As you were saying about that Shen, the Frozen Heart build, that area of effect, attack speed slow is going to be huge, especially with Nunu on the other team. You can see him backing there. He's not too worried about what's going to happen. They know they can't kill Unstoppable X right now. It probably won't happen. No mana there. They were just making sure that nothing went wrong, and he kind of acted as a ward up top for Westrice at the time. Westrice is going to actually look like he may be backing or waiting for his lane to push, as he knows he can't continue to be aggressive.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get ganked up there. He's got zero map vision whatsoever. You saw that Saint tried to wait in the brush for a second to see if a gank would happen. It didn't, so he backed off, went back to base, no big deal. But you're seeing these lanes, they're actually staying pretty equal here. Let's check, we're looking at, the jungler coming through here. Unstoppable finally has his own Oracle. He wants to assist this bottom lane right here. Now, of course, Curse won't play aggressively here. They know Unstoppable's waiting in the wings. But if you can sneak in, I don't know, that might just work. He's just blindly walking to the brush, not care too much. And Saint is actually going to follow suit and just show up in this lane. So suddenly it's a 3 versus 3 at the bottom here.
No, I really like what Unstoppable's doing. He's saying, yeah, you see me, but I'm going to be able to take out your wards. Go ahead, put down more. It's good money to waste, good money for me. Westrice, his damage rate not going in his favor. He's stopping all the damage here. Saint's not even up there to help him right now. Maybe he's trying to draw him into the turret. They are both over level 6, so they have their ultimates. That's when you get that ability. You can see Saint is actually heading top. He's blood-boiled Cassiopeia on the way, so Nijak gets a little bit of attack and movement speed. And we'll have to see how these lanes fare right now. It's 91 to 100 for the AD carries. They're both doing quite well. And actually, not even hitting up the same build yet. Westrice taking the Ignite ticks down as they get very close. Taunton, one more Vorpal Blade, and it is going to be Wings of Death playing that one very smart, knowing how much damage he could take, and Westrice kind of sat himself in front of the turret. He had less room to run in turret range, and Wings of Death said, if I'm only going to take 2 for this, I'm getting myself some gold.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal move overall by Wings on Shen. He knew you know, when his cooldowns are coming back up, okay, I have dash, I have everything, let's do it, and flash initiate, go. Damage everywhere, pick up a kill. Phenomenal, phenomenal job. Wings of Death bringing out the 2-0 score right now. What we saw the first time. Again, that first game opened up with Wings ahead of Westrice, and he's done it again. But now, what's going to happen in this mid-game? Mid-game is when first turns it on. Salsi just barely getting away from that ultimate. Nice turn back there, puts the shield on as well. And he's going to block all that initiation. Nijak, he burned his flash, he burned his ultimate. Salsi did flash as well, but still, it's one ultimate down. The mid-game comeback has not yet happened here for Curse.
Yeah, the AP mids. Oh, very nice Orianna ulti there. Trying to harass, but Westrice comes in with the apprehend. Here comes Wings of Death, just getting himself a kill, coming back into lane, gets out that Vorpal Blade, and it's actually still chunking quite a bit of damage off of Westrice. Very nice job in communication by the team there. We can see that Wings of Death with his 81 CS over the 73 of Westrice and 2 kills is going for that Sunfire build. He wants to be able to push his lane, and they're definitely focusing on that split push composition as they come into the late game.
Oh yeah, the late game for Team Solo Mid is going to be great because they have that global teleport from Shen. Just like with Twisted Fate, you can make that late game by split pushing 1 versus 5, and when the enemies show up, you just teleport away, no big deal. You can survive that very, very easily, and then show up to your team for a 5 versus 5 later on. You can get some free turret kills that way, you get a lot of golden experience that way. Expect to see Wings of Death off by himself on one lane, where the rest of his team is off by themselves on the other side of the map. That's going to be a very key strategy here for Evo, and if Curse can stop that, well, they're going to need to stop it ultimately. That they're not going to be good. Not going to be in good shape if they can't stop these pushes.
14 minutes into the match now, 2,000 gold up for TSM.Evo, and they also have 2 kills. There's really 100% less turret focus in this matchup than there was last time. TSM is trying to keep these lanes composed, and they're really pushing back hard. They have a lot of focus on that top lane as well. Very nice job with the first blood there, and they're continuing to pressure that lane. They do not want Westrice to come back. Darius can still scale in the late game. This is not over for Westrice, but we have to look that he is forced to apply 2 Doran's Blades to Wings of Death, Giant's Belt, and that armor, as well as the gold generation item. And he has the Ninja Tabi to mitigate that damage as well. So like I said, that 1 factor of damage, the armor, can quickly be mitigated, and you see Wings of Death hardly taking any.
Yeah, and Wings wants to rush for that Sunfire Cape. It's going to add a lot of things to his gameplay. Number 1 is that Sunfire Cape just positively damages everything around him. Every second they take 40 damage, and so if he sits in a mini wave like he's doing right there, they'll just burn down, and he can push down to the turret. And again, we just talked about how Wings on Shen wants to split push. He wants to be on his own, crushing minion waves and taking out turrets. If he can take out minions faster, he can take out turrets faster, and it's a great advantage for him. Additionally, having health and armor just makes him fight better, and the way these battles are going on between him and Westrice on Darius is they're long-term battles, so, you know, he does not want to die to those.
And there it is, Curse gaining the first dragon of the game up at 21-23 will be your next dragon, but there is the objective control. They may be behind a little bit of gold, but they just made up 1,000. So if they can do that again in 6 minutes, they're going to be able to really put themselves back into this game. The items really in favor, however, of TSM.Evo. You have that Glass Cannon Orianna coming out, the quickly, needlessly large rod. And we also have the Blasting Wand on Cassiopeia. Cassiopeia able to output a lot more damage faster, so she can still contest in that fight as Orianna waits for her cooldowns. Cassiopeia is on that 0.5 second double Fang cooldown if her opponent is poisoned. That AP mid lane, again, probably not going to fight each other too much as they just expend their flashes to get out of the fight, because both know they can do some huge damage.
And here comes Vision at the top lane. St. Vision's waiting around, will land the Ice Blast. Wings so incredibly slowed, has to pop his ultimate to try to teleport out, and he will make it, but he's been ignited and he's bleeding. And looks like he will just survive barely. And Unstoppable now stuck. Oheno 1 versus 2 at this top lane turret. Looks like he will survive it overall and pick up these minion kills. Wings barely making the escape there. Great timing on that ultimate to teleport out and not take too much damage.
Yeah, it was a great idea by him. Obviously, the 4 skill set of both champions on him went into play. He's like, can they stun me? I'm out of here. Stand united, and he went right to Nautilus on Unstoppable X, or Unstoppable X on Nautilus. So we just cresting that 15-minute mark on the game. We can see that these builds don't have a lot of defense for any of the attack damage carries or AP carries. They're really going for strength right now. They know they have that tanky front line on both sides. They have that Nunu to come out. They have that Alistar, as well as the Nautilus and Shen on the opposing team. So a lot of the carries are focusing on so much damage and saying, hey, you know what, we'll get a sustained late game, we'll get our Guardian Angel late game if we even want one, if we even need one. So right now the builds are really just going in the favor of damage, and the tanky front lines are trying to build themselves up. Elements with the headbutt out and the pulverize. Can they still get the anchor toss? It's well within range, and it just dodges over the left shoulder of Elements as we see that presence from Unstoppable Axe down in bottom.
And the top lane, though, again, a fight happening here. Now, no kill had happened last time, so I feel like Wings of Death is still just stronger than Westrise, and you're seeing that here. Westrise dropped to about 2/3 health, and he's just taking a lot of damage overall. Just, kind of chilling his bottom lane, and they've still kept this bottom lane very, very close. It's a 14 minion kill difference with 165 on Ezreal, looking for an early Bloodthirster possibly. And meanwhile, you've got that Corki who's going for the early Trinity Force. We saw that last time where Top went for Trinity Force, and he just got so far ahead in that game. But this time, he's not winning his lane very hard. He doesn't have those 2 early turret kills, doesn't have the gigantic minion kill advantage. And so this time around, with Nashmi going for a more late game oriented build with that BF sword, he's actually going to reach that late game at an appreciable time, and then mid game's going to be a little bit easier. But again, this top lane, Ice Blast comes out. Wings not going to like this. He does not have an ultimate available. His dash comes out. He will not flash as well, though. He's still going to take a lot of damage under this turret. Flash coming out on all sides. And here comes Unstoppable from the back. Saint's going to get rooted in place. The ultimate comes off as well. Can they do enough damage? Westrise is still around. He's going to dash in, and here comes Salsi and Orianna. So much damage. There is one picked up. Saint Vision ult is blocked out. Will they do enough damage? He's 1-2 hits from dead. He's running back to the turret. Nijaki fires back on the Salsi, though, picks that one up. Saint, 1 hit from dead, and they will make that a 2-for-1. Will they continue on? This Orianna has been killed already, but Cassiopeia is going to make it back to her turret.
Very nice job. They were able to pull back out of that one. The Ezreal ulti going up towards that top lane. Cass quite hurt, passing through, but just not doing enough. She still has a sliver of health left, and Nijaki able to make it out alive. Great counter presence by the other team. They were able to come up. We saw it was a 2v1, then it turned into a 3v3 instantly, but Darius went down fast. The focus was onto Nunu. Kind of confused me for a bit. Darius was low, taking quite a bit of damage, but they just didn't want Nunu slow, the utility in that fight, and they focused on him last, knowing Darius could still put out some damage if they were to leave him untouched.
Yeah, but, they ultimately did bring him on down, and you can see the advantages are actually snowballing here for TSM.Evo. They're up about 3,000 gold, and unspoken there is the fact that they've removed St. Vicious' Oracle. Normally that elixir lasts forever as you see invisibility, but when you die, it gets removed from your champion. He had to spend another 400 gold to rebuy that. He wants to have that advantage on himself. He wants to be able to see wards. He wants to deny vision. Unstoppable, again, has that Oracles, but he hasn't actually fallen down. So an extra 400 gold was forced to be spent on that cursed lineup. And so that is a gold advantage that's going to mean a whole lot.
And the key to victory, as we said, for TSM.Evo is to really get Salsi going. Right now at 6,500 gold, he has the highest accrued in the game. He also finished his Rabbit on death cap at 18 minutes. A very nice average to do that. Any earlier, and it just would have been exponential for him. He would have been able to completely slaughter that fight and clean up. He also did coming into it, so it only helped that much more. The Chalice, that first early buy, very good, keeping him sustained with that bit of cooldown.
Yeah, so we're going to see just a lot of different builds on all sides here. So the Sunfire Cave already completed. Looks like he's going for a Phage, possibly a Frozen Mallet next up on Wings of Death on Shen. You already talked about with a Death Cap. Salsi might be going for that Athene's Unholy Grail next. We already got the Chalice for some mana regeneration. But you're now seeing turrets finally starting to fall. As Salsi got that middle turret before, well, Wings made the second turret fall at that bottom lane. Not Wings, sorry, but Unstoppable. And Evo are really setting the pace this time. That's what I thought they needed to do in the last game was, you got the early game advantage, but you have to make things happen after that. 2,000 gold only means so much if you actually fight with an advantage. Well, right now, that's what's happening. The Ezreal finished in Infinity Edge. It's really, really big. Curse, right? They are so good at dragons. They're down in kills, they're down in turrets. Second dragon, no problem. Curse, amazing at taking those down, and that's how they're going to keep themselves in this game. Because right now, individuals are great for TSM.Evo.
Yeah, they're doing very well, and that's what gets scary, is that TSM has that individual power right now, as you just said. And with that split composition, that's not what you want. You don't want to have to run away from one person. You don't want to have to chase a Salsi all over on Orianna, able to buff her movement speed with that quick steroid of dissonance. So you have to be be very careful at how they initiate now. They need elements there. They need to have St. Vicious there for the fight. And just like last time, they need to let Cop sit in the back and take some shots. They have not 5v5 yet, and we've only seen a few turrets taken down. By this time, we were to third-tier turrets and knocking down on inhibitors. This game going way slower. These teams understand that single elimination.
Yeah, and they do not want to be eliminated, of course. TSM.Evo only one came away from an early trip home here on Thursday, the very first match of the day. You don't want to be the first team to go home. At the very least, you want to put on a good showing, at least turn it to a full 3-game series. And right now, TSM.Evo are looking like that's in the cards for them. They're still up 2,500 gold. They've traded turrets a little bit, but they're still up 3-1 in turrets. They've got a 2-turret kill lead. Of course, they've traded that off with a 2-dragon kill lead on Curse's side, but still, they've got 3 kills. They've killed off an Oracles. Poor Westrice, 0-3 on Darius. He is not liking life right now. So we're going to see what's going to happen in this mid-game now. Mid-game was when Curse turned it around. Right now, Evo are good at, they're really not getting themselves into these sort of smaller engagements, the kinds of fights that Curse used to put themselves in the advantage. Instead, Evo wants to fight 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s, and just play this laning game as long as possible. Right now, it's working for them. They've still sustained an advantage, and Shen's going to get scarier and scarier as the game goes on.
You know, Wings of Death is more than happy to take that damage. As you said, the Vorpal Blade basic attack able to heal him up, and he's really taking 0 damage from Darius as he goes to attack him. So it's always a trade in his favor, and Westrice needs to just hang back. He needs to not be aggressive whatsoever. Even ganks down onto Wings of Death we've seen don't work. He's just too tanky right now, and the Sunfire Cape push is on. He is going for that second-tier turret, almost seeing Westrice in the bush. TSM looks like they are going to be gathering here in middle. We're coming around the 24th minute of this matchup. 2 dragons have already been taken by Curse, and now they need to be vigilant of their jungle.
Well, they found St. Vicious there in the jungle. He's taking a bit of damage, but he's going to make it out okay. He's got the Oracles again, a very important choice to focus him down. The difficulty with that, though, he's now finished in Aegis of Legion, so Nunu is going to be nice and tanky. He's going to supply a tanky aura to his team as well. Aegis, when you've got it on your champion, it grants armor and magic resist and a bit of attack damage to all of your nearby friendly champions. So Nunu, it's kind of like a, you're done if you do, you're done if you don't, because he's tanky himself, but everyone else on that team is going to benefit from that aura as long as he's alive. So, what do you do about that? That Nunu's going to slow you down, he's going to do a bit of damage, he's going to buff up his carry, and the rest of his team is tanky. It's a great choice overall for St. Vicious to be tanky and tanky and tanky and force his team in that role as well.
Westrice getting picked off here, but here comes St. Vicious for the health. He can Blood Boil Westrice for the speed. Oh, he flashes over the wall before he gets hit by Depth Charge. Absolute Zero gets almost the full channel there. He is forced to click that off early, and now it looks like the counter is on. St. Vicious gets locked up. The passive of Nautilus will lock you down for a few seconds. The turnaround, the Orianna ulti to disengage the fight, and it has been re-engaged by Curse. The 4v3 situation. Headbutt pulverizes in, the focus on Wings of Death, and now unstoppable. They drop him down quite quick, and the chase is on. Mashmi and both Nya also make their way to the top, stand united onto Saucy, and this is going to somewhat thwart the fight. Good pressure from both teams. They are able to pick one up for Curse.
Wow, nice job by Curse, turning that fight to their favor. And they did deny that Oracle's Elixir. They killed Unstoppable, that Nautilus jungle, who also picked himself up in Aegis of Legion. He's got boots of mobility, all that fun stuff, but he needs to rebuy the Oracles if he wants to sweep wards once again, or someone else needs to pick it up and carry that torch for them. But this is what we were talking about. Curse can turn on that mid-game, and it's now 2-4. The Dragon's coming up before too terribly long, and they're going to want to force a fight there. Their ability to fight has been good every single time. They've had the positioning, they've had the mechanics overall, they've had the coordination. And when you're a more senior team, when you're a team whose roster has been secure for longer, coordination was one of those big bullet points there for Curse, and it's happening right now. All 5 were on the same page, and they got that fight. They basically outnumbered Evo, and that's what it took them to win that fight.
Yeah, it was really great. That's what I was just speaking about towards Curse. I was saying they're not around the map enough. We saw TSM even come in with a few more members, but they weren't able to stop Curse in that battle of 5. Obviously, they didn't have all of their members, but they could just see the tanky lineup was not something that TSM wanted to deal with after losing that player. So they're going to have to be very careful of how they initiate now. That Alistar Headbutt Pulverize can can stop a lot of initiation and is on that 5 to 6 second cooldown for both of his spells, so he can do that over and over again. It's like a mini Malphite ult. A little unstoppable force for you, and we'll have to see if they can really mitigate that. There is so much crowd control to come out of this team. You have Apprehend, the Headbutt, Pulverize, Absolute Zero, and then Orianna's ulti. If you're getting away, she's going to throw you right back into the mix.
Yeah, so what they're going to need to do with this is lock everyone up. Right? You just talked about all the crowd control here from the first lineup. Right, you can see, just 3 big tanky guys running down this mid lane. They want to lock people up for Nijaki and Comp. Those are the big carries of this lineup. Westrice, I think, needs to succumb to being a bit tankier. He needs to just get in there and weaken everyone for everyone else on the team. But there are 2 very big, scary carries on that Curse lineup, and that's going to be where the battle's going to come from. And you can see them squaring off. That dragon has come back up, and it's going to be who wins this fight. This is the most important fight, I think, of these players' lives right now, because if TSM.Evo is eliminated, they are out of Season 2, and they've got to try again next year to make it to Season 3. They need to win this match, and to win this match, you need to win this game. To win this game, you need to win this battle. They started up on Dragon, it's getting low. Curse wants to jump in. They picked up the Dragon Steel for themselves, but here comes the initiation. A lot of pain coming off. Saintfish getting knocked up into the air. A great Orianna pull, putting everyone together. There's the Absolute Zero, not going to get stopped for a short time. And there we go, Nijaki picking up the first kill. Wings has fallen. Where's the rest of this fight? Mashby picks up one. Saintfish goes down, but Westrice is fired back. And now suddenly Curse in a pretty good shape. Salsi picks up one, but it's been fired back again. Mashby actually still doing a great job. He's trying to run now. Lulu trying to run himself. Yeah, Win taking so much pain. And Nijaki's going to make that kill happen. And there is the ace. 3 for 5. Curse again winning these mid-game team fights.
It just goes to show you what they're trying to do with their front line. Get your guys tanky. He saw Orianna go for that Rabadons early. They said, Cass is good with the Rabadons, but Nijaki is more than happy to be tanky. He wanted the Rylas. That's going to help his team initiate. We saw how much that TSM started to spread out from that fight, but Cassiopeia, with those double buffs, was able to just keep everybody in there where they needed it, and they were able to turn it back around with all of the crowd control that they bring. I was just speaking to that. The Orianna ulti, however, I said wasn't enough to keep him back in the mix. There just wasn't enough damage. I think Don't Mash Me flashing in to get that kill on Nunu put himself in a position to be focused by the rest of Curse. Darius was actually going very low. He could have taken that first. Nunu, not as much of a threat, but was the first go down from the AD carry, and he had to force himself to get that kill. Curse just played it very soundly, very mechanically, and they said, we're in the middle of this bunch. Let's look around us and see where the danger is, because they're spreading out. Very well played by Curse in that Dragon fight. It is tied at 7-7, and they have been able to bring the gold within 1,000 once again.
Yeah, I think Curse played that fight perfectly. They fought that fight exactly how it needed to be done, which was go in, fight hard, make it a slugfest, and deal as much damage as possible. They had a big, tanky front line that died very, very slowly, and they had so much persistent damage output from Nijaki. Cop fell down pretty early on, but Nijaki on Cassiopeia was a little bit too tanky, has the Abyssal Scepter and the Ryla's Crystal Scepter. Hard to kill out. Mashby getting caught out just below, though. Gets the shield, but it's not going to be enough. That's going to be a kill picked up, and suddenly Curse are firing back for this game again. The Shen taunt comes out. Can they do enough to kill off Nijaki? He is tanky, but they are going to shut that one down. Now how's this fight going to go? Because there's no attack damage carry here for TSM.Evo. Can they do enough? Well, so far, yes. Salsi picks up the 1 kill, and now they've made it a 2-for-1 overall. He wants the dual cop. That's scary. So much damage being dealt by that Corki. Salsi will survive with the shield. Westrice off from the side as well. Alistar in from the back. Salsi shields himself and will live. Westrice taking even more damage. Can he get away? The missile rock misses. There's a reward. The shield is on. Cop jumps in. Will pick up that kill. Now, can there be a firing back here from TSM.Evo? It's 2 dead on each side. They found Westrice again. A lot of damage being dealt here. He's going to have to flash away. He will not deal any more damage. He's traded 2 on each side, and TSM.Evo still wanting to push because all of Curse is so low on health that they will say, yes, this turret, that's going to be ours. Thank you very much.
That was a huge thing, and a big focus of that fight was when they're chasing Salsi, you have to consider how much you're putting towards that kill. They lost their AD carry, and Alistar was also following that as well, and a few other kills were able to be picked up. So it's not that the communication wasn't going well there. They just kind of got tunnel vision on that 1 kill. A very low health Orianna is chaseable, and they got that kill out. It was good for Comp, getting himself back into this one. 270 97 CS, again, the highest, almost the highest in the game. Actually, it's going to be Saucy on Orianna who's been able to do that for himself, keeping himself very buffed up throughout this entire game. The Oracles on Elements as they clear, and Freak, these teams really bringing out the keys that they need to. Curse following up on those dragons, continuously going into the fights, kind of switched around in that last one, but they were able to come out. But they do still have Orianna, that key for TSM.Evo. They got to get behind Saucy, and they got to start making those plays surrounding the damage he can output right now. Don't mash me with the Infinity Edge is going to be very nice as well, but with that Infinity Edge, he's going to have to get himself in the fray.
There's one big thing that TSM.Evo needs to do. They need to fight longer engagements.
Yes.
They need to fight battles that take more than 15 seconds. But we saw right there, they lost their attack damage carry at the very start. But Saucy got like 7 shields off that battle. Shen was able to tank for a long time. Nautilus could tank for a long time. They were able to make the fight last for a while because they can shield, 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 shield. They can block so much damage every time those cooldowns are back. The longer you fight, the more those cooldowns you get, the longer you make that fight happen, the better off you are when you're TSM.Evo. They need to make these fights last longer. They need to not lose don't match me at the start, and then make those fights last upwards of 20 to 30 seconds. If they can do that, you wouldn't even see a single death in the match.
Here we go once again for Baron. Really the focus on Wings of Death. He's pushing that bottom lane, and they feel comfortable to take the Baron, but Stand United is up. No, it's going to be an uncontested Baron in a 5v4. Will he be coming in with the ultimate? He goes down onto Saucy. Shen is now in the fight. Wild Growth's going out onto Saucy as he's trying to deal the damage. He finds a kill on Nightjack. That's where most of the damage came from last time. A double kill coming up for Comp as they start to turn this one around with Baron. They may lose Alistar on this one, but Elements gets out alive as they finally focus it down. St. Vicious able to pick up his kill, and it is going to be the ace coming out for Curse. They bring themselves back and now put themselves in the lead for the first time in this matchup.
Excellent, excellent fight by Curse. Once again, they just initiated hard. They picked up kills right away, and it was pretty much cleanup mode from the first 12 seconds into that battle. It was a great early aggression, picking up those fast kills. Don't match me was forced out. A great headbelt pulverize coming from Elements actually stunned him and his neighbor, Win, and it was just pain from then on out. Combat just jumped in and crushed down those two champions, picking up an early triple kill, and just start pushing this game through. Just like last time, there is that middle inhibitor dead just after the Baron, and they are happy to keep pushing through, taking up these map objectives, trying to look for the Lizard. It's gone, but they will move back to their base. They're going to recall and grab items, and then it's going to be time for round 2.
You know, the tanky front line of Curse Gaming is just really working here. They said, you know, Shen is bottom and the Stand United. That's definitely what they're trying to do. It's almost like the distant Baron dance and the elbow reach. They're like, hey, we're going to be down here, but we know they're coming back up. We know they're coming back up. So Curse was more than happy to fight that with the initiation and the burst that they have off the bat coming from Curse, coming from Westrice to just get in there, coming from Cassiopeia, Nijaki being played there. That's just so much that you're going to lose somebody before he even gets there. We saw it had to be used on Saucy for Stand United, and Saucy was already at half health. Wings of Death was forced to just get in that fight, and you can't really protect somebody that's half health after Stand United is just ripped away on that shield.
Yeah, Unstoppable just got picked out alone. I think he was the only one who actually took that Cassiopeia ultimate to the face, but it didn't matter. There's so much damage on this first lineup. A Blood Royal Corki, a Cassiopeia, Westrice on Darius. You have a lot of damage output for single targets, and they just bursted down a Nautilus, a mid-game Nautilus with 7 assists. He's got 160 minion kills. Unstoppable is pretty tanky, but he's stoppable because there's so much damage from Curse.
Curse really playing on that first roll. That key note that they needed to do to victory is team communication. Their initiations are awesome. They have that Ryla's coming out on Nijaki. They also have Apprehend as well. You have Alistar to peel and Nunu's ultimate to peel off as well, and even the Ice Blast. So they have a lot of ways to stop their carries from being attacked on, which is amazing in a tight fight like that. When you don't have much room to move and only a few steps are going to keep you alive for next auto attack, those pay huge dividends in the fight. And we can see where it came into play. All of the slow, the crowd control that Curse is bringing to the fight now, they don't even want to initiate. Going for the attack there, he gets apprehended in, but throws on his W, able to shield himself. Unstoppable not taking too much damage, and another inhibitor is taken down cleanly. Curse very much so uncontested in these attacks.
Yeah, and they're going to move on after that easy turret and inhibitor kill right there. They're just going to move to the bottom lane there. Once again, they want to pick up another turret inhibitor, and just kind of cement their advantage. They don't want to dive into the base too hard. They don't want to get too risky here. They know they're winning, and they want to take these, small pushes into the base and just build advantages. That's really their goal, is to build advantages, and build more advantages. They've now taken the 8th turret out, and they are knocking at the 3rd front door here of TSM.Evo. Evo's going to need to fight here. They cannot win a game with 3 inhibitors dead. Wing is getting pulled in. They're going to get ready to push in. Absolute Zero hits everybody for a significant amount of damage. Matching Orianna half health. Can they do enough here? Westrice has initiated. Wings is there. A lot of pain going off on all sides. Going to go in on Mashme, who will be forced away. Westrice still alive. Nightjackie picks off Salsi with the first kill of the fight happening. And here comes the comeback fights. Can they do enough damage? Wings still up in the front. Westrice did leave. He's going to recall out. Can they do more damage in this battle? They still have Unstoppable right in the front. The taunt comes off. Elements taking so much damage. There is finally the comeback kill, and now they find St. Vicious. A second kill going to happen here, and suddenly Evo might be ahead in kills for a fight for the first time in a long time. And now they've got to get themselves back into this game. There's a lot of minions going to be knocking at their front door. They're going to have to farm these relentlessly and somehow catch up in items and gold.
It's like Curse just took out Alone. A few minutes ago when Baron was up, lasting that 4 minutes, and now up in another 3, it was almost even all gold. Now they've put a 7,000 gold difference in a matter of minutes between them and TSM. All of these turrets, global map control now. TSM has no vision outside their base unless they ward or their minion waves continue to push out of the lane. Curse is in a very good position, and we can see one of the huge key factors, that 3rd and final for Curse, Dragon, objective, and turret control is really playing in their favor, paying dividends, and they're also going to be able to come out with what seems like another match.
Yeah, with only a 3-kill lead, the fact that they have 9 turrets, every dragon, not every, they've lost 1 dragon, but every Baron from there, right, they're up 5 turrets overall. That is where their advantage is coming from, and they've secured them so very well. As you said, they took out Alone, because they're up right now in gold, but with 2 inhibitors dead, there's going to be an endless tide of minions flooding into TSM.Evo's base. And minions at this stage of the game just equals gold and experience. And TSM.Evo needs to farm this gold and experience to empower their carries. It's going to be Don't Mash Me playing Ezreal, and it's going to be Salsi on Orianna. They're the ones who need gold, and their scores are good. It's a 4-3 Ezreal, it's a 5-5 Orianna. They're playing well overall, but they need to make this happen right now because Curse is already knocking back in the front door. How is this fight going to go?
They're right in the front there. They go to focus on St. Vicious, more than happy to take the damage. Top sitting on the outside, dealing a ton of damage right now. Westrice taking down by Unstoppable. Nightjackie able to find out Wings of Death, and this does not look good for TSM.Evo. Too many turret shots to Westrice will help them pull their numbers back in favor, but it is still a power play for Curse. Chasing down onto Orianna, and it's going to be Don't Mash Me falling. The double kill for Nightjackie. The ace coming up for Curse Gaming, and as they batter down the second turret, they do make it an early matchup, and they find the first 2 games in their favor for the Nexus.
Absolutely, Curse Gaming taking the very first quarterfinal of the Season 2 North American Regionals. They're going to move on